guys, it's Sydney. I'm back. So today I'm going to share with you a story time. I've never really liked the term story time when it comes to YouTube videos because I feel like a lot of times they're just clickbait for people. But this story that I'm going to share with you I think is really important because it shows that no matter how well traveled you think you are, how good at traveling you think you are, how many times you've gone on a plane or taken a bus or whatever, that sometimes you are still going to do completely idiotic things when it comes to traveling. And that it's okay and that it will work out, and that even if you are like, oh my god, I cannot believe I just did that, that sometimes things work out for a reason the way it happens. I was an undocumented flyer. Did you hear that? An undocumented flyer, which means that I was not on the right plane that I was supposed to be on, okay? I got on the wrong flight. How this all went down. My brother lives in Colorado and my parents were out there visiting. My mom came back to Florida for a week or so because my grandmother was in the hospital, so she was coming back to visit her mom, and then I had already planned on flying out there to visit my brother and to, just go out to Colorado and go skiing, some hiking, all that fun stuff. So my mother decided that she was going to fly back with me. I had already booked my flight, so she was like, okay, Sydney, just book me on the same flight as you and we'll go, okay? So I live in St. Augustine, which is Northeast Florida. We're flying out of Tampa, which is like 2.5 hours away from my parents' house. So our flight leaves at 6:20 a.m. We get up at 1 or 2 maybe and drive the 2 hours, get to the airport, getting through security. We're running a little behind because obviously it's very, very, very early in the morning and I don't like mornings, but we're going. I check my bag, we get in line, we get through security, and we head to our terminal, okay? So I have all of our tickets stored on my phone. It's right there. They're saved to like the wallet. So they're saved on there, and we have a layover. So we're going from Tampa to St. Louis to Denver, Denver to Albuquerque, and then from Albuquerque we're going to my brother's place, driving. Okay, so we have, but the stop in St. Louis, we don't switch planes, okay? So it's just a stop there and then we continue on. It's like literally like a 15-minute stop, some more people get on the plane and then we take off again. Super simple, easy, one layover really is all we have and then we're taken care of. We go up to the terminal and I'm starting to look at our tickets and I'm like, this is really strange. I mean, I was like, why are our flight numbers different? Maybe it's just because we booked at separate times. And then I was like, well, no, I don't think I'm supposed to be on this flight. That's my flight number. I was like, Mom, I think we're on separate flights. Go ahead, get on this plane. I'm gonna go talk to the ticket lady and see what is going on. Meanwhile, the flight leaves in like 10 minutes. So we're kind of hustling and moving around. So I go and I send my mom on this plane. I go and talk to the lady at the next terminal who is the same airline, direct flight from Tampa to Denver. So it's the same flight, it's just this one doesn't have a stop in St. Louis. So I show her my ticket and I say, am I supposed to be on this flight or am I supposed to be on the next one? She looks at my ticket all huffy and puffy. I mean, it's 6 a.m., I don't blame her. But she goes, you're supposed to be on that flight, you need to go now. And I was like, okay, I'm going. So I get up and I go, and I'm going over to the terminal right next door. So I've ran back and forth like 4 times now. Also, on the side, this direct flight from Tampa to Denver has been delayed. Okay, so that flight is now being pushed back. The Tampa to Albuquerque to Denver is on time and is leaving in like 2 minutes now. So I run over there and I was like, I just talked to that ticket lady. I thought I was on that flight, but I'm supposed to be on this flight. My mom's on this flight, I need to get on. And she's like, oh, okay, what's the last name? And I say my last name, which is Zaruba. She goes, okay, go, you're on, good. And I was like, okay. So then I'm starting to run down, the jet way to like from the terminal to the plane. And I'm about halfway down and I'm like, oh my God. I left my iPad charging in the waiting area. Of course, like, you would think that, I would remember these things like my iPad, but of course, it's 6 a.m., earlier than 6 a.m., I'm tired, we've been up for 4 hours already. Hectic. Okay, so I drop all my stuff and I run back to the lady and I said, I'm leaving my bags right here. I left my iPad over there. I've got to go get it. And she goes, right over there. I'm like, literally right there in that chair. I can see it. She says, okay, leave your bags, go. I leave my bags with her. You know, they're right there. And I run, literally am running, and grab my iPad, come back, get all my stuff. She lets me back through the terminal. And then I get on the plane. I see my mom sitting like 6 rows back, and I show my ticket to the flight attendant. And she goes, oh, seat 820. She's like, that's right here. Oh, there's somebody in this seat. That's weird. We must have issued duplicate tickets. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, well, you can sit right here for the time being. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I'm on the flight. Like, at this point, I don't care where I'm sitting. Meanwhile, during all of this, my mother is texting me. She's going, Sydney, I need you to send me my tickets. Sydney, what are you doing on this plane? Blah, 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 blah. Everything's like in action. We are moving, people. Like, we are starting to taxi. And hey, kitty. Everybody meet Frankie. I'm just gonna hold this up. She's playing with a ping pong ball. Hey, say hi. Hi. Anyways, this is a cat. I'm cat sitting. So the plane is taxiing. My mom's like, you are on the wrong flight. And I was like, am I on the wrong flight? I don't know. They've let me on. It's fine. We're just gonna lay low. So we're starting to take off, and I asked the flight attendant, I'm like, hey, you know, I paid for a window seat. Is it okay if, you know, I move to a window seat? And she was like, yeah, as soon as we take off and we get at, you know, height level or at cruising level, that's fine. We'll move you up into first class. So sorry about this inconvenience. I'm like, okay, first class, I see you. That's all right with me. So we get up, we get into first class. As the flight is going on, I start thinking more and more. I mean, like looking back at emails and booking stuff. I am on the wrong plane. I am on the wrong plane. Do you hear me? I am on the wrong plane in first class. How? Why? They never scanned my ticket, and somehow I just managed to finagle my way on. I'm not even sure how. So we land in St. Louis. A bunch of people get off the plane. I'm still sitting there, and I asked the flight attendant, I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, do you know if there are empty seats on this next flight? And she was like, oh yeah, we should have about the same amount of empty seats on this flight, you know, about 30 empty. And I was like, oh, okay, good, because I got on the wrong flight. Her face literally went white. And I was just like, oh my God, what have I done? She gets out her phone, and she's like, not her phone, her little, you know, walkie-talkie airline flip phone thingy. She goes, security, we have an undocumented flyer. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I was just supposed to be on the direct flight from Tampa to Denver, and they sent me on this one. I'm not even really sure how it happened. And she was like, okay, just give me a moment. And I'm looking back at my mom, who's like hysterically laughing, but also like kind of freaking out because she doesn't even like to fly. And I know she's just gonna be like, I don't know her when I get into trouble, because she's pretty much over my crap this morning. So, you know, she's gone, and she, you know, the hostess is gone, and she's talking on the phone with TSA or whatever security agent that she's talking to. And she comes back and she's like, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to come with me. She's like, we need you to talk to, I think it was OSA, I don't know. It was some sort of a letter initials name. She's like, we need you to talk to these people. And I was like, oh God, okay. So she takes me out, but then she doesn't take me anywhere. She just leaves me at the desk with the front lady. And so then I have to explain the whole situation of what happened to the lady at this desk. Just, you know, played dumb, like, oh yeah, I got on the wrong plane. They told me to get on this one, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know how it happened. So she's like, okay, well, our manifests are wrong. And so she's like calling TSA, she's like, the manifests are wrong, the manifests are wrong. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? They're gonna think I'm like out to, sabotage everybody. I don't know. I'm like freaking out that they're never gonna let me fly again, that I'm like gonna be put on the no-fly list, because at this point I feel like I've broken 14 federal aviation laws. So she's like, well, we have to change the manifests because the manifests are not incorrect, so we're just gonna rebook you on everything. And I was like, okay, that's fine, I guess. So she rebooks me. They put me on the next flight to Denver, and then I'm on the same flight that I was on for Albuquerque, and they put me in first class again. So really, it was fine. I was like, they were like, okay, yeah, you can get back on the plane now. So I went and I got back on the plane, had all my stuff. We get to Denver, and turns out that my original flight, the direct flight from Tampa to Denver, has been canceled. So I was like, oh, well, thank God. But then I start thinking, okay, my luggage is checked on the Tampa to Denver flight, and which has now been canceled, so my luggage is in Tampa. So now I'm just like, well, great, now I have no clothes because I only brought a personal item and because I checked my other bag. So then I go to my next email, which says, we have credited you $200 worth of flight vouchers for your inconveniences today. Okay, I got on the wrong flight and you're gonna give me $200? I am not going to argue about it. Whatever, we have our layover, we finally make it to Albuquerque. I go to Albuquerque, we sort out the luggage. 3 days later, I get my luggage. They give me another $50 flight voucher for not having my luggage. And then they gave me a stipend of money to spend for the clothes that I had to buy because I couldn't walk around naked. I was also coming from Florida, where it was hot, to Colorado, where it was cold. So I had to buy clothes because I was not dressed appropriately. So they gave me, I think it was like $150, $200. I probably could have gotten away with more. And recompensation for the toiletries and clothing I had to buy. But all in all, I do not recommend getting on the wrong flight. It was sheer chaos. I think my mother will never fly with me again. And you know, it's just, I don't recommend it. I am concerned that the next time that I fly, well, I've flown since then, but it's been international. I'm concerned the next time that I fly within the country that I'm gonna be looked at a little more carefully. Not that it really matters, but you know, we'll see what happens. Hope you enjoyed that story time. If you liked it, please show it some love below. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all that fun stuff. Thanks, you guys.